Berlinger is our guest for the rest of the hour. He's an award-winning filmmaker, journalist, and photographer. His films include landmark documentaries like Brother's Keeper, Paradise Lost, The Child Murders at Robin Hood Hills, and Metallica, Some Kind of Monster. His most recent film, the multi-award-winning Crude, debuted at the 2009 Sundance Film Festival and is scheduled for theatrical release in September. It is September. The inside story of the controversial $27 billion Amazon Chernobyl case in Ecuador. And it goes on. Stephen Holden of the New York Times says, Crude, rarely have such conflicts been examined with the depth and power that Joe has engaged in. So we've got him here with the documentary Crude. Amazing film. We're going to be playing some clips, though there is some profanity in it because it's a documentary. So most of it will just be video in the background while Joe is talking. We'll play the trailer to coming up here on the radio/TV show. People tune in all the time, and I get emails. Why are you talking about video? I'm listening to you on this radio station. This is the 21st century. So it's not just a document cam or a video cam like Limbaugh has. We got cameras all over the studio. It's a TV studio now. Got document cam, video clips, full production crew. It's great. You can watch it live if you're a prisonplanet.tv member. So, Joe, it is great to have you on with us, my friend.
Sure. It is a pleasure. I missed you since we hung out a few years ago.
Yeah, for people that don't know about that, and I guess it's probably the first time that you've talked about it, or at least publicly, that I know of, $3+ million budget, biggest for Discovery Channel ever. You're an award-winning, top-tier documentary maker with your partner. You come out, interview me for several of the episodes, and tell folks what happened with that.
Well, we had a series for Discovery called what was our? I don't even remember what Tribes of America was the name of the series, and a woman named Jane Root, who used to run the Discovery Network, loved our work and hired us to do this series about different kind of subcultures in America. And one of the subcultures we wanted to explore was the world of you and, the clear-eyed kind of news you like to deliver, and we thought that would be an interesting show. The so-called conspiracy theorists, and obviously, what you guys think of yourselves. I should include myself amongst them. We did a great episode with you and a couple other people in your community. You were, of course, the star of the show. We did a number of other episodes on different kinds of communities. And at the 12th hour, after $3 million had been spent on this television series, the woman who hired us, who was actually the head of the network, ended up getting fired, replaced by another guy named John Ford. And, of course, as is typical in corporate America at these television places, and I guess I'm biting the hand that feeds me, but all the projects that this woman had greenlit were thrown out the door, and a whole new set of programming was brought in.
But your project was shot very close to being done.
Exactly. That's what we did an episode on evangelical street preachers. We did an episode on the New York diamond community. We did a episode. Actually, your episode was called Alternative Radio.
And then one on robotics.
One on this community in the desert. It was 2 years ago. So I've been so involved in the Amazon.
It was Carnies. You were doing one on.
We did one on Carnies, and then we did one on this desert in these bunker people living in bunkers in the desert. And it was a great series, and it was 99% shot. The money had been spent. We were in the final phases of post-production. Your show in particular was fantastic. We spent some time together following you both down in Austin, and then we went to the premiere of your work in progress of your last movie. And then for 9/11 activities, we followed you around in New York. It was really a great episode.
Yeah, you were there when I got arrested, and they shoved Etienne with his $100,000 camera down for no reason. I mean, this was intense.
Yeah, and it was a great episode. The whole series was this kind of cinema verite exploration of these different groups of people who aren't your traditional kind of citizen. At the 12th hour, the show was canceled, and the stuff wasn't even aired. And, I'd be the first one to say if the show stunk, I understand why they didn't air them. But these were high-quality documentaries made by, very good documentary makers, and they just fell victim to the usual thing, like they'd rather waste $3 million worth of production than the new guy airing this stuff, and realizing they made a mistake in firing this person because the shows do well. So we had that, and we had another TV series that they just buried called San Quentin Film School. So these two projects that had originated with this woman who since moved on and was fired. The new regime just jettisoned all of this great work.
Back to Pentagon programming, but also behind the scenes we were talking, because you really were doing a fair piece. It didn't make us look like angels. It was what really happened.
Yeah.
They came to you said that they were trying to put, would I debate a neocon? Would I? And then even though you were talking with me about, my God, they really are trying to manipulate this, then that wasn't even enough for them. They just threw the whole thing in the fire.
Yeah, after, and it's one thing to cancel a show or cancel a series, at the development stage or at the early stage where a show is not yet shot. But here you have literally $3 million worth of production. You'd think they'd at least air it at some odd hour just to at least get some economic value out of it.
This is like aborting a 17-year-old.
Exactly.
Right when you're about to get him out of the house.
Exactly. So it was very heartbreaking, and I was particularly disappointed with your episode being canceled because I thought that was a lot of fun. It was very interesting. I forget who is the guy. Rance, Jeff Rance, is that his name?
Yeah, Rance.
Yeah, he was profiled, and another guy was profiled, but you were kind of the star of the episode, and the stuff we'd shot of you in New York getting arrested was priceless.
Yeah, it was. Well, I know you're here to talk about Crude.
Yeah.
Tell us first, it's opening now, where people can see it, in what cities, amazing cinematography, really serious stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a film that kind of changed my life and really opened my eyes up to some fundamental truths. Shot over a 3-year period in the rainforest of Ecuador. If you go to our website, www.crudethemovie.com, you'll see all the places it's playing. It's a small, platform release, so we're rolling out city by city. It opens next week, September 9th in New York City at the not the Newark, that's LA. It opens at the IFC Center in New York on September 9th. It opens at the New Art in Los Angeles September 18th. The Lumiere in San Francisco on September 25th, and then we start adding cities like crazy. And I know you're based in Austin, so it's coming to the Dolby, the landmark Dolby Theater, October 9th. And hopefully I'm going to come down, so maybe you can come help me do a Q&A or something.
Yeah, I'm going to be done with my film, Fall of the Republic, by then, and it'll be getting printed up on DVD, so I'll kind of be over the hump. And I would love, Joe, to come see you again. And I'm just watching clips of the film, reminding me how well this film is done. I mean, this looks like film, but it was shot, I guess, in HD.
Yeah, we use these little HD cameras, and the technology is so good, you get a really nice look. And actually, for the theatrical release, we ended up transferring it to 35 millimeter, for theaters. And I'm surprised at how great it looks. It really held up nicely. There's beautiful light down there that of course helped, and that beautiful light kind of put a spotlight on the disgusting and horrible pollution that is the subject of the film.
And Canada had roughly 15% higher wages than us, so most of their industry came down here in the 70s and 80s. NAFTA and GATT lowered the Mexican standard and the United States standard. That's clear now. I mean, most of Michigan looks like a third world war zone. And now, as they continue the free, quote, fair trade, the race to the bottom, we need to look at what's going on in Ecuador and Mexico, because that's how we're going to be living now, or something closer to it. And your film investigates that. And you had to worry about kidnappings. You had to have armed guards. I mean, this was a journey into hearts of darkness, Joe. So when we come back, let's get into it. But let's start with the film and some of the adventures, and then some of the backstory, some of the things we won't see in the film.
Okay, sounds good.
Go ahead and start telling us about it.
Oh, I thought you were queuing up for a commercial break.
No, well, I'm saying we are coming. We got a few minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, basically, I'll just talk about how I got started. I kind of got dragged into this film kicking and screaming. The lawyer on behalf of these 30,000 plaintiffs, which are rainforest dwellers, indigenous people, came to me and told me about this pollution and said, you got to make a film about it. It sounded preposterous. I couldn't believe that what he was telling me was true, but I went down and looked at it for myself, and there I saw an area the size of Rhode Island, a 1,700 square mile swath of the Amazon rainforest, completely despoiled through oil production. For 30 years, Texaco drilled oil, and when you drill for oil and the oil comes up out of the ground, you have to separate what's called formation water